hope that you guys are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you, when this video finally reaches you. This video, you guys, has been so highly requested recently, and actually I would say for the past few years, ever since I started going out on paranormal investigations, and then now as of lately with 31 days of Halloween in full swing, and I've been going to so many paranormal locations, just kind of going nonstop. So many of you guys have been asking me the truth about ghost hunting, the truth about paranormal investigations, what it's really like, what it's like behind the scenes, do things follow me home, is there a dangerous aspect of it, all of that stuff. And so for today's video, that is exactly what we're going to be diving into. But before we get into today's video, I would just very quickly like to bring you guys down to my kitchen, because today's video sponsor, Teamy, is the reason that despite being in the busiest time of year for me and just running around every single day, going nonstop, I'm still able to get all of my nutrients in and take proper care of myself and give myself the energy that I need to film, edit, and upload every single day. All right, you guys, welcome to my kitchen, where I have found myself, thanks to today's video sponsor, Teamy, every single morning getting my greens and superfoods in with the Teamy Greens Superfood Blend. Now, as you guys know, October is my absolute busiest time of year, and sometimes I'm so on the go or so busy or have to head out the door so quickly that it's impossible to even eat breakfast, let alone get the proper amount of greens in, and that is where this has been an absolute lifesaver. The point of the Teamy Greens Superfood Blend is to help increase the amount of veggies and superfoods that you're digesting and intaking daily. Increasing the amount of veggies that you take daily can help with your gut health and also with your energy levels, and ever since I started taking the Teamy Greens Superfood Blend, I've noticed that my digestion is better and my skin has been glowing way more than normal. I also feel so energized, which is amazing for a busy day. So all that I do is, I will show you guys here, I just pop a scoop of this into my tumbler and either add water or I add this to my smoothies every single morning. I prefer it in a smoothie, but since I've been really on the go lately, it's more often than not just been in my tumbler with water. I add the water in and I mix it up and I take it with me on the go, and it's that simple to get all of my vegetables and my superfoods in first thing in the morning before I even have coffee to get my energy levels up. So as I said, I've been having this first thing in the morning every single day and have noticed my skin looks healthier, my digestion is better, my energy levels have skyrocketed, and better yet, you guys, I just want to let you know that this has 16 superfood ingredients. It's vegan, GMO-free, gluten-free, and dairy and soy-free, so it's great for anybody. So if you guys are interested in trying out the Teamy Greens Superfood Blend, I will have a link down in my description, and you can use my code Reese20 for 20% off your order, and thank you so much to Teamy for sponsoring this video. So with all that being said, thank you so much to Teamy. That has truly been a new part of my routine, just every single day getting up and just having that before my coffee and being able to go out on these investigations with my energy completely filled up. Because one thing that I'll start with is going ghost hunting is so much fun. Ever since I was a kid, I've enjoyed going to different paranormal locations. Although I never really had to go looking for ghosts throughout my childhood, they were always just around and in the home that I grew up in. I found it fascinating that in different places in the world, there's different spirits, different entities, different beings, and I was always fascinated in exploring them and learning about them. I used to have this book called Haunted Canada, and it was just all the different places in Canada that were really, really haunted, and I used to dream about being able to go there someday, because growing up, a lot of my paranormal experiences were really positive. But with that being said, you still have to remember that these are real spirits. These are either people who have lived and passed or entities that have been around since who knows when. There's a lot more to it than just summoning a spirit or hoping to catch something on camera. You want to make sure that you're protecting yourself, that you're respecting the space, you're respecting the spirits, and you're cleansing yourself properly when you leave that space. And something that I've learned is that every person who ghost hunts that I've met has kind of a different regimen as to what they do before, what they do after. Some people don't do anything before or after. We do things before and after, but I think it's just really, really important to take care of yourself. And so the first thing that I would say is, if you're looking to go out on a paranormal investigation, evaluate yourself, evaluate your mental health, evaluate your health, especially if you're going to a location that's known to have dark or demonic or negative entities or spirits. You want to make sure that you're feeling healthy and that you are mentally prepared and in a good headspace. Negative things will attract to negative things. And so if you go into a location with anger in you and maybe just, if you're in a really bad headspace and you're vibrating at a lower vibration, you're more likely to attract things of that nature. And if you're not feeling well, you're weaker. And so you're more prone to being under spiritual attack if that particular location has a spirit or entity that's known to do so. So I just always make sure that I'm feeling good mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all that jazz before heading to a location. That's like number one for us. Then what we do, and this isn't something that everybody does. In fact, there's a lot of ghost hunters who will purposely not do that because they want the thrill of it. They want to get beings and entities of all kinds caught on camera. For me personally, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in going in and having a demon prove its powers to me. So what we do, by we meaning myself, my mom, Sarah, Tyler, basically anybody that I've ever ghost hunted with, we will protect ourselves with a white light around us. And how we do that is we just visualize within our mind's eye view, or if you're able to visualize it externally, I visualize with my mind's eye. I picture myself outside of my body, looking down at my body and visualizing this big glowing white light just surrounding me. If I'm in the car with Mama, Reese, and Sarah, surrounding us, protecting us, and I set intention with that white light. It's not enough to just say white light surround me and then go on with your day. You have to believe it in your heart that you are protected by this white light. You have to remind yourself, if this is the route you want to go, this is for me personally, that this white light will protect you. Light will always overcome darkness. That is just a fact in my mind. And so before we go into a location, we say a prayer asking to be protected by this white light, and for signs if things are going south and we need to go, which is where I go into my next point. When I go ghost hunting and I go into a location, so many of you guys will ask me, how are you not afraid? How can you go into these locations and be so calm and ask these questions even when scary things happen or scary things come through? And while I haven't always been calm, I have a few situations which I'll share with you guys where I've been terrified. But most times I'm not. It's just because I really read the energy in the room, and I know when enough is enough. When I go into a location, especially if it starts to go dark or I feel like there's a really, really negative, perhaps demonic entity, if I start to feel that heaviness and I start to get signs from my spirit guides, my angels, all of that, if I start to feel within my intuition that this is not right, I won't stick around and taunt things for the sake of clickbait. That's not what I do. Actually, sometimes people will comment saying that some of my investigations are really boring. And that's just because sometimes you go to places and nothing comes through. And I'll get into that in 1 second too. I'm kind of all over the place, but there's so many things I want to cover. So when I go into a location, I'll read the energy of the room. Even before I turn on the camera, I will see what type of vibe it is. And if I feel like it's turning too dark too quick, I will decide not to go. A specific time that's popping up in my mind was, actually there's 2 specific times that pop up in my mind. 2 times where I was actually really scared. One time was with Loie and Andrew at that haunted, abandoned cemetery and church. And I don't know what it was about that property. Nothing had really happened yet. But the moment I set foot on the land, I had a horrible feeling. Like, I did not want to go to the back of the cemetery. Loie and Andrew were both looking at me like, Hailey, you never do this. And I just had a really, really bad feeling about it. We ended up having a pretty spooky experience there. And that was just one of those times where I said to them, guys, I think it's time to go. Because I even ran. I think that was the first time I ever ran. I was like, oh, we gotta go. And I just ran off the property because I just knew that there was something there that wasn't vibing with my energy. And I didn't want to push it for the sake of content. Another instance is when we stayed in room B340, we actually didn't sleep in the room because I really felt like what was there was evil. Sarah got that scratch. I know that people think things like that are fabricated for the videos. That was not. Are we saying that it was for sure an entity? No, but we're convinced it was, because when we went down to security, they also said, yeah, that happens in that room, mostly to women, and we did not have any part in that. There was nothing around. We hadn't even unpacked our bags that could have caught her. And on top of that, when we went to put our bags in the car and we were going to go back up to film, I heard something in my ear in the most sinister voice say, goodbye, as if it was so proud of itself for scaring us out. And those are two instances where I decided, you know what, the video isn't worth it. I don't want a demonic or negative attachment to me. And I like having peace in my home. I like having serenity and feeling calmness around me and light around me. And so I'll make a decision to leave if I feel as though that's what's best. Now, if things are getting good and I don't have a terrible feeling, I will stick around. So it's all just about reading the room. And my advice to any of you who want to go ghost hunting is to just pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to how you feel, pay attention to, actually do research on the location before you go so you have a generalized idea of what to expect there and other people's experiences. It's similar to the fact if you are going to use a Ouija board, know the warning signs that your session may be going down a dark path, and then you can make the choice to close out that session. So that is a big, big thing for me. Why I'm not scared, that was one of the biggest questions you guys ask, is I'm confident in the light around me, and I'm confident in my ability to know when enough is enough. And if you go into a location with fear, you are attracting a negative experience. Negativity feeds on fear. Demons feed on fear. If you go into a place with the knowledge and not thinking you're holier than thou, I do not think I'm more powerful or my white light around me is more powerful than a demon in any sense. I'm just stating that if I go into a location terrified, I'm more likely to have a really negative experience, other than if I go in protecting myself to the best of my ability and then reading the room and being like, okay, enough's enough, and leaving. I think it's just really important to be calm, collected, and in a good headspace, especially if you're going into darker locations. Now, another big question you guys asked is, what do we do afterwards? This has been a really big question. And what I want to say to this before I say what we do is that I think it's really important to do what you feel is best for you. Some people don't like using sage. Some people don't like using holy wood. Some people don't like using crystals. It's all what appeals to you and your energy and what you feel protects you. We have holy wood in the car, sage in the car. We wear protective crystals when we go to locations. If you guys want an entire video on the different protective crystals that we use, definitely I will do that. My advice with crystals is, especially if you put together different protective crystals, see what is attracted to you or what you're attracted to and what's attracted to you. A lot of times when I go into crystal shops, I'll see what I'm attracted to, and when I read up on the crystal, it's exactly what my spirit and soul needs. So it's all just about discovering what's good for you. We will do, especially if we have a negative experience somewhere or it's a notoriously dark place, we will sage our entire bodies before getting into our car and leaving the location. And then even after that, we'll say a protective prayer. We'll pray for the spirits that may be trapped and pray that they can cross on and find peace. Sometimes we'll do that big prayer while we're there if we feel as though those spirits are trapped. We did that at Skeleton Park when the spirits were saying that they were trapped. So it's all just dependent on the particular location and how it makes us feel as to what we do afterwards. If we say a prayer in the location for the spirits, if we say a protective prayer for us after we leave the location. All of our significant others have one request, and that is that we don't bring anything home, and we've all made that promise to them. So we're very careful in making sure that we don't. Which leads me into another question, and that is, has anything ever followed me home? And I will say that after I left the Queen Mary, strange things were happening in my home, but I think it was residual energy that was attached to my things. I hadn't done laundry yet. I literally just left it there. I was gonna do it. I had a book that I bought on the Queen Mary, which I still have, but I did sage it. And once I did all my laundry, I just saged my entire house. I actually sage my house pretty often. Also though, sometimes sage can remove positive and negative energy. So sometimes I'll just use holy wood, which keeps the positive energies but removes the negative energies. So I could do an entire video on how I sage my home, how I sage my things. I go from each and every corner of each room in my home, working my way to the door where I essentially cast it out. But yeah, my biggest piece of advice, honestly, and I feel like I'm circling back here, but I think it's important to note when it comes to ghost hunting, is to just know that, yeah, it's so much fun. There's a thrill to it. It's exciting, but it's also very real. And so you want to respect the spirits. I personally do not taunt anything. I don't force a reaction out of something. I don't ask them to prove themselves to me. I like to have a very authentic experience when I go to locations. So I'll ask them to answer questions via spirit box or whatever. But I don't say, if you're here, I demand you do this. Like, that's just not my style. That's not to say that it doesn't work for other people. Like I said, it's like customizable to each and every person and what they're comfortable with and what they want and what the result they want out of it is. But for me, I just like a very natural experience. Sometimes I'll go to a location and absolutely nothing comes through and it's supposed to be so haunted there, but it's like blank on the spirit box and blank in experiences. And then sometimes I go to a location that's not even supposed to be that haunted and it's like great communication and a phenomenal experience. So it's really just depending on the day too. So yeah, that's basically the truth about ghost hunting. It's not terrifying. Sometimes it can be, so you have to be prepared for that. But also, I'm really, really big on people following their intuition, following their gut feeling. If it doesn't feel right in a location, don't do it just because you want the thrill or you want the clickbait of it, because it's not always worth it. So that's my personal advice, but I do want to give a disclaimer and say that I am not the best of the best. I'm not all-knowing. This is just from my personal experience and what we do. Whatever you choose to do or whatever those who you enjoy watching do, it's totally up to you and up to them, and there's no right or wrong way. There's just the way that I like to do it. So I hope that I answered some of your guys' questions. Let me just skim and see if there was any more you guys had that I might have missed. Oh, one more thing. A lot of you guys have been asking me about what I think of paranormal apps. I'm still figuring it out. I'll do an entire video on all the different ways that all the different tools I use to communicate with spirits. I'll probably do that this week. Different ghost hunting equipment, what I use, what I enjoy, what I think works. I will say I've made some pretty crazy connection using paranormal apps and apps for your phone that are considered spirit boxes, but I will give you my entire opinion and all the different things that I use in an upcoming video. So yeah, that's basically the process of what we do when we go ghost hunting. We read up on a location so we know what to expect. We put a white light around us. We bring our crystals. Sarah has hers. She has a necklace, but she ties it around her wrist. You might have seen her wearing it. We all have those as well. Sometimes I keep crystals in my pocket. And if we feel like something is not going right, we don't stay just for the sake of it. We decide it's time to go, and then we'll either say a prayer there for the spirits if we feel like they need it, or we'll say a prayer outside of our car, sage, cleanse ourselves, whatever we feel is most important for that location. And then we always thank the spirits for their time and for communicating with us, and we always make it clear that we are not there to cause any harm, and we are not there to bother them. If they want us to leave, let us know. So that's basically it for today's video, you guys. Once again, thank you so much to Teamy for not only providing me with my energy I need in this busy time of year, but for also sponsoring today's video. I am so appreciative. For 20% off, make sure you guys click the link in my description and use my code Reese20, and thank you so much to Teamy for sponsoring. If you guys are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed but you do enjoy my videos, I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and click that subscribe button, and please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, I love you guys.